Welcome. Hi, this is Carol from Skill Check. And today I'm going to talk about the self-storage job foolproofed. And I don't know if there's a really total foolproofing, but I do think we're going to address a few things today that will help us be better at having a secure and amazing storage property. So, how do we get storage right? Well, I'm going to start out by saying rules. And for a few years, I taught junior high school. And my parents were both teachers, so they gave me some great advice and things. And my mother gave me a load of books, and my dad said, you've got to make sure he just tells it to me. He said, all those books, you can read them all, but the reality is start out really strict and then you can ease off. And that's what I think sometimes with our renters, we need to make sure that we go through the rules and let them know what those rules are and that we will enforce them. And I hope you're using in your software, there's rules and regulations. I always like to take those and put them instead of you can't, I like to put be a good neighbor and then put all some nice stuff in there. And I will share that with you if you'd like to. You could email me and I'll send you one. But the interesting thing about the rules is you want to make sure you have them and you go through them. You don't just sit there and when you're renting, now you might not do it at every single rental, but if you do have the time and you're not really slammed, if you're doing 40 rentals in a day or 12 in a day, you may not be able to go through it all. But I would like you to say, let me just tell you about the rules of the property. It keeps everyone to be a good, and I call them be a good neighbor. And then so you go through and you say, be sure to, pick up your own trash and just all the things. Make sure here are the gate hours so you know them. You can keep this with your real rental agreements so you'll know when the times are that you can come in and out. And that really makes a whole lot of difference is if you can actually talk about the rules before they actually get into the property and start acting like a crazy person or a really good person. so listen to customer complaints also and try to resolve them. And some of them are very strange. I know I was at a storage property and doing some consulting work recently, and this lady comes in and she goes, "That guy next to me is peeing on my side of the it wasn't on her storage unit, but there's one right next to her." She goes, "He's peeing on the door right next to me." And she said, I can't believe it. I'm going to call the police next time he does it. And so then when the customer left, I said, "So what, have you talked to the person?" She goes, "Oh no, I don't even like talking to him." And I said, "You really do need to talk to him. You need to say, we've got a restroom up." I said, "Do you have a restroom?" Yeah. She goes, "Oh yeah." I mean, he knows where the restroom is. He doesn't want to walk up here and use it. Well, I think that if that's the bad behavior, you have to get rid of it. So listen to the customer complaints and try to resolve them. And sometimes that may mean getting rid of customers. And I know it's no fun and it's a pain to get rid of people, but you can do that. Have a way for customers to communicate with you also when you're not on site. And I'll give you some suggestions for that in a few moments. But also, if you have a dumpster that's out and that they can see, or trash cans, something like that. I had a store that I took over years ago. In Stockton, California, and they had a trash can on both ends of each building. So, and it was a big store, and there were like 12 trash cans. And every time I drove through there was trash all in them, trash stuff on the sides and everything. And I'm like, get rid of those. I'm like, get those out of here. I don't. And she goes, "What do you want to do with the trash cans?" I said, "I don't care, but don't put them back out. Leave it." And then all of a sudden, people kind of left things there. Some leave trash, and then we watch and see who it was. And I said, "You see who it is? Go talk to him. Tell him, sorry, you bring your treasures in and you take your treasures out." So that's just the way this works, right? And the more that you leave trash cans and the dumpsters open and things like that, you'll have people dumpster diving and everything else. Sometimes your managers too, right? Act on problem tenants. You need to notify a supervisor as soon as possible. Don't wait too long. And sometimes I know managers, you guys want to handle everything that comes along. You don't always, well, you're not always able to handle all the wackadoodles. Sometimes it's even hard for the policemen when they come out. But when you see bad behavior or suspicious behavior, let the supervisor know, because these are the things that we need to know before bad things happen. And tenants with issues with other tenants, I know you might have heard this story, but I was in the office with the manager in Northern California. And as I'm there, we're looking up and these people were arguing. And the manager glanced up. She goes, "Oh no, they're at it again." And she could see them talking to each other. And then one went back to his truck. He got a crowbar and he smashed the other guy's windshield. And she goes, "Oh, what are we going to do?" I said, "Call the police. You call the police and I'll go down." And so, and so we did. But the weird thing about it is that weird stuff happens like this. And it was over. One of the guys parked like a foot and a half of his vehicle over onto the others in front of the other's door. And it was a 10, or an 8-foot door. So it wasn't that big of a deal, but it just made him mad. And he didn't like the fact that he was pulling up so it'd make it easier for him to take off his stuff. They just get mad for who knows what reasons, right? And it can be all kinds of things. But remember, give your tenants also other means of contacting you. And I love, this is exactly something that I got from Hideaway Self Storage in Florida. They're amazing operators. And I saw this on their door and it said, "If you're happy with us, tell a friend. If not, call." And it gave a number there. And this is my 800 number. And so we would take calls from the 800 numbers for all of my stores, because the interesting thing about this is if you don't have a way for people to call you, they will either move out or they will put stuff on social media. And I know, I mean, I can tell you, you're going to get calls sometimes on, holidays, Sundays, vacation days, whatever it may be. And maybe you switch that phone around. It goes to, you might have it just answer and not have a person answering it, but you could certainly have an answering service do it and then get to you, with whatever it is, whether it's an emergency or it's a non-emergency, and have them maybe triage or tell you what's more important, and saying, if it's really important, something's going wrong, then call me. If it's, "Hey, I just wanted you to let my code's not working," or whatever. But that's a pretty big deal to customers too, especially when they want to get in on a weekend. Well, listen to customers' complaints, because your customers may see more bad activity than you see on the property. And I can't tell you how many times that people have said to me, and this has happened at my store too. In fact, one of my stores, and again in Northern California on the coast, I had a tenant in there that was living in a space, and I told the manager, I said, "You need to get him out. I want him out, and I think you need to give him a notice to get out, and that he has, give him 7 days." And so I thought, okay, everything's good with that. And she said, "Oh, okay, I'll give it to him tomorrow." Well, that evening, I was coming to go to dinner. It was in Monterey. It's a beautiful place. So as I'm rounding the corner, I could see the storage property down low, and I'm thinking, "Holy moly, that looks like a fire there at the property." Well, the gentleman that was in the storage space had a space heater in there, and it caught on fire. And that, believe me, this is not the first time I've ever heard that. And the problem is they fall asleep, and then it affects a lot. We lost an entire building over that. I know the owners were very upset with me, but I said we were dealing with it. But I had just that day found out about it, and I said to get him out of there. And I said, "Don't let him have gate access beyond when you're in the office." And she did it anyway, or he followed someone in. But the police and the fire department, they were just like, "Why didn't you kick him out?" I'm like, "Well, we tried, or we were trying to do that." So, and it's not easy because there's a lot of places for people to go. So you don't live with these crazy customers. This kid right here, he put this on YouTube. He's 7 days so far that he's lived in a storage unit, and he's proud of it. Every American has the right to make a fool of himself if he wants to, but too many folks are abusing the privilege. Gloria Vanderbilt said that, and I love that, because it just seems like there are people who are kind of idiots, if you will, and being strange, and they do it in storage too, don't they? So we don't need that. We need to, if you see this, if you come along and you walk along, or let's say he's got the door shut and there's no lock on the door, I'd lift that thing up and look inside of it. If it's not secured, you should be wondering why it's not secured. Lift it up and you're going to find him in there. And then you're going to have to say, "Sorry, guy, I know you may be living here or whatever, but you can't stay in here. You can't live in here, so you need to get your stuff and you get it out. And now I'm going to put you on, you can come in and get your stuff and go with it, but you cannot stay here for hours on end. This is not for living arrangement." I got to make it a little hard for them. And if any of you that have listened to very many of these, I go up on the rent. I mean, like a lot, and I make it difficult. And you only there can go in and out during the office hours, so there's no other extra time that they're there trying to sleep or trying to do whatever bad they want to do. So, and storage is not a permanent storage solution. I love this. I found that and I thought, man, somebody stuck a dead body in a storage unit. So that shouldn't surprise me too much, not through all the things that have happened. I remember the guy that killed his first wife and put her in a ice, like, I mean, a freezer. He put her in a freezer. And his new wife in New York, the lady said, hey, we haven't gotten anything out of that. Just get rid of it. We don't want it anymore. You guys go ahead and get rid of it. The husband wouldn't have said that because his dead wife was in it. So you have to make sure they're not storing just weird stuff. I mean, it's against the law actually to do that, so you can't do that. You think we shouldn't have to tell our customers you can't do all this stuff. Remember, and I hope all of you think about this, embrace technology. Get your owner to upgrade your security cameras or fix or get cameras throughout the property and in the office. It makes for better security for you in the office also. Or maybe even use one of those ring cameras at the front of the office, or maybe by the manager's apartment door, because you don't want to open that door without knowing who's there, especially if you don't have a way to look out or see somebody that's out there. I know I've had doors like that where the manager never knew who they were opening it to, and it's their home door. So I kind of like to get the rings out there. The other thing is develop your storage skills. And I really appreciate you listening to this today, but using your storage software fully, make ample notes. One of the things I noticed a lot doing audits is that managers don't make enough notes on problematic customers. I mean, every time they're here after hours, I talk to them about this, talk to them about that. Everything that you can put in there will help you if you ever have a problem in court. So don't forget that. I know it's a little bit of a pain sometimes, but it's really important. And don't forget, continuing education, it's so much about not just listening to things like this, but I think you should get out of the office. I really do. I think the Self-Storage Association, your state associations, our YouTube channel, things that you can do like that. But it's really important to get out and do something. And this was one that I did. Gosh, it looks like Orlando. But I am speaking for the SSA in Vegas coming up. So any of you that are interested, please sign up because we're going to have a great time. And I know it's kind of like 2.5 hours or something, but it will be full of fun, and you'll get to know some other people, and it'll be a really good time. And you think, oh my gosh, you're gonna have to sit and listen to something that long. We do good things, and I bring you lots of materials to look at and have fun with. So I hope to see you there. And if you do, come say hi to me. I like to always meet people that have watched the YouTube channel. So again, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. And I'm still trying to get a lot of subscribers. I'm not anywhere near like hardly even a K, which drives my son nuts. He's like, oh, Mom, you just don't have enough of that. So thank you for watching. And again, my name's Carol Mixon. And if you're trying to get a hold of me, the 800 numbers here or carol@skillcheck.com, you can find me that way too. Thanks for listening and happy renting.